Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to be looking at this book here, which is True History, A New History of Immigration by Jaclyn, oh, I'm going to butcher this one, Backhaus, and an introduction by Christopher Sebastian Parker. So this is definitely more leaning on the older crowd when it comes to information. There's not a lot of pictures in this book. It is very much a nonfiction book talking about the modern history and the history of immigration within the United States. So they have basically the first chapter is America, a nation of immigrants. Are we a nation of immigrants? It's kind of talking about these things, the power of words. Here, let's jump through this. So this is, yeah, it's a nation of immigrants. It's pretty much how our citizens are made up of different people and talking about how welcome we are to immigration. We're not. So it does go in through the history, talks about Native Americans just a little bit. Then we have chapter 2, which is the power of words, which is talking about immigration words and what the word alien and sedition acts and types of immigration status, which again, this is very much modern stuff, and different views. It does talk a little bit about the Chinese Exclusion Act here. If you want more details on that, check out last month's. I have a bunch of stuff on Angel Island going through. It does have a lot of different pictures here, so it does show actual pictures. And let's see. Our borderlands, which is chapter 3, which is, again, we're talking about, this is the U.S.-Mexican border. So that's kind of what's going, it talks a little bit about that, and ICE, and the history of the border and Mexico. So it talks about that history. Then it's going to talk about chapter 4, which is the early waves of immigration. So this is where we're really going to talk about Ellis Island and Angel Island, and I wouldn't call the enslaved people from Africa immigrants. Some crazy people do, but they're not, because they did not come over here willingly. They do now, but not slaves, just people from Africa. But it does talk about that and what defines whiteness and different settlers and stuff like that, and refugees. So Jewish and Irish people escaping different things. Italian immigrants. So then we're going into the Statue of Liberty and the Golden Door, which does talk about a bit more about Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty, what it represents. Talks about the books of names and old legends and things and stuff like that. Then this is going to move into Asian immigration and the civil rights movement, which again is talking about a little bit more about Angel Island, which was an Asians and the Chinese Exclusion Act. Talks about the Transcontinental Railroad here. And then it moves into moving forward from going back. So this is talking about current racism issues in the United States and immigration problems, and looking at the past and different things. Does a lot talk about COVID-19 and the isolation of that. So this is a much more up-to-date book than some of the other stuff. And then chapter 8 is America's Future. So it talks about black immigration today. So we're talking about people coming over from the Caribbean and the African countries as actual immigrants. They're coming over mostly of their own free will. When you're a refugee, are you really coming over for your own free will? Most refugees would rather not, but you know, it's get out the heck out of your country, or you're not going to survive very long. So, but it is very, very interesting. It talks about Muslim bans, the Muslim bans that happened during the Trump administration. You guys are seeing this in June. I'm filming this in January. We all know what year this is. It's 2024. So we are hoping we're not going to be dealing with any more of that nonsense. And talking about a bunch of other stuff that is going on in the United States at this time. And then talks about the epilogue. And then there's just kind of an epilogue about history. So, and there is a selected bibliography in this book. So this book is about 159 pages. So I definitely going to say middle school, maybe high school, was the range of this. It's definitely a book. It does have discussion points. If you're doing homeschooling, this is a great book to use, to kind of start off the conversation and talking about both Ellis Island and Angel Island and the immigration history in the United States. So that's really, I'm not going to do too bad because I'm kind of doing a rush thing, but I'm trying to get a bunch of videos done all at once. So that's probably the end of this video. If you do like what you see, be sure to check out the rest of the channel. I am covering a lot of immigration stuff, both May and June, specifically focusing on Ellis Island and Angel Island histories, which are the two main immigration stations in the United States. Ellis Island, of course, is in New York Harbor, and Angel Island is in San Francisco Bay. Two very, very different stories on that. And next month I will be heading into cooking. So we'll be going into some lighter stuff. And then we'll be looking at some, I believe, women inventors in the following month, and then doing some deep dives into Beauty and the Beast and some other stuff. So be sure to check out the rest of the channel. Check out what I've got. And that really is it for this video. Leave a positive comment if you have one. Thank you.